So talking about GS paper 1, how would you rate the difficulty level of GS paper? Easy, moderate or tough?
So this year's GS paper, I would say, little bit difficult than compared to the previous year. Slightly above the moderate level, I would say. So because the nature of questions, it may appear like the themes are so you are aware, but the way answers were framed, options were framed, so there comes slight of difficulty.
So talking about geography questions, were the questions more factual based or concept based?
So talking about geography, I would say it was more of it's a mix of both information and conceptual type. So rather than saying so factual, I would say it's more related to current orientation. Okay, so many questions were related to current aspects, the current issue based. But there were a fair number of questions which we could have predicted. For example, the questions on international dateline and even the time zones, or the drift theory, so which were most common part of geography study. On the other hand, there was enough map-based questions also. The question on Andes, or even the international north-south transport corridor, or the lakes question. Okay, but few so bouncers here and there. So that makes the overall geography section slightly above moderate level in terms of difficulty.
So now talking about environment, have you seen any changes in the pattern of the questions this year?
Yeah, so environment, considering the last 2-3 years of pattern, there's not much change. But over the last 10 years of pattern, there's a so there's a complete change, because so some of the static parts are not asked here. Okay, so for example, ecology or biodiversity and those static concepts are not given emphasis. So other than that, there was a enough emphasis was given to the current affairs related questions, or even the application oriented questions. Okay, so most of the questions are like you know about this, but if you have studied thoroughly in detail, then only you will get there. Okay, so yes, it was slightly on the difficulty level, higher difficulty level.
So lastly, one piece of advice for the students who are preparing for the UPSC Prelims 2026.
Yeah. So for geography, I would like to say you cannot ignore any section, because many of the themes were repeated after a time gap of nearly 15 years. For that matter, the international dateline or time zones, these concepts were never asked in the last 15 years. Okay, so please don't skip any of the parts. Okay, keep your basics strong, foundation strong. In that, add current affairs. Okay, so you need to make sure that whatever you are reading, try to link it with the current affairs thoroughly. And in addition to that, just because there was few change in this year, so you cannot ignore it completely. When it comes to environment, we need to so change some strategy here. The way traditionally environment section is studied, we need to give more focus and emphasis on the current related aspects. Okay, so whether it is the alternative powertrain or the coal gasification, they're all in news. So either the topics related to the climate change or energy, any of this, we have to so try to link the environmental issues on the day-to-day life of us. So that makes it more practical oriented. So keep the environment study more practical oriented.
Thank you.